Okay. We're live.
Are we doing the video?
Oh, yes.
It's okay if we do, but we like to hear the video. We like the music.
Yes.
Where my girls at?
Where my girls at?
Where my girls at? Independent, free spirit. Ooh, it's some serious. Where my girls at? We link up in a cool minute. Where my girls at? It's going down, down. Where my girls at? It's going down, down. It's going down tonight. We going out tonight. Yeah, right. We going out tonight. It's going down tonight. Yeah, right. It's going down tonight. We going out tonight. Yeah, right. We going out tonight. It's going down tonight. Yeah, right.
You know, we couldn't start without that. We couldn't start because that puts us in the kind of mood. It's Gloria Mayfield Banks, and I'm so excited to be here with you guys. It's Friday. And you guys, this smile on our faces because that's how you start a video, but that has nothing to do with maybe what we feel in our hearts and our brains. But seriously, you guys, I'm seriously want to say hi from Baltimore, and I'm throwing it over to Detroit.
Hey everybody, it's your girlfriend Chrisette Ellis. I hope that everybody is having an amazing Friday, as amazing as it can be. But you know what? It's all in your attitude. What you think about, you bring about. And I'm just excited to be here with my girlfriends. They always bring a huge smile to my face. What's going on, Katrina Harris?
Well, I choose to smile as well. We have been trained that we can take anything and see how it's adding value. And you know, I do have to say, as much as I have cried and could cry in a moment, I'm feeling encouraged. I am feeling so encouraged, and I'm always encouraged when I'm with my girlfriends. So Sabrina, what's happening over there?
Hey there from Chapel Hill, North Carolina. I just love our intro song. Where my girls at? We link up in a cool minute, because it's a cool minute that we get together, okay? You guys should see us getting ready for this episode. We're running over there, then we get in our seats and we're all in our places with sunshiny faces. Girlfriends, the time matters. So we're glad that we're here with you today. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, you guys. Seriously, last week we had a great conversation. And we had two conversations last week. Number one, we had a great conversation about the fundraiser that we're so excited about, the timely fundraiser. First time the Force of Friendship ever done anything like this. And it's so amazing that it's about children of incarcerated parents. So we'll be talking to you a little bit more about that. But if you haven't had a chance to do your $20 donation or find 5 girlfriends who are willing to do $20, we really want you to join us in that march. But also on Saturday, we had a great conversation with our tribe about what's going on. And so we decided to come back on here today, the 4 of us having a conversation with you, want you to engage with you and talk with you. When I woke up thinking about Force of Friendship today and talking, I had a whole nother thought that it was going to be my primary thought, really. And then the mayor of DC. Did you see what she did? She changed the name of the street in front of the White House, turned it into a mural, and big yellow letters says Black Lives Matter. And what I want to say is I'm loving the conversation about, it doesn't mean that other lives don't matter. It means that we matter too. And so what I've loved about this time is the conversation. What I've loved about this time is that if you don't say something, it's a problem. And that people are now being inspired to say something. So I'm going to open it up, and I know Chris just ran from a funeral. Chris, you want to talk a little bit about that? The first time you've been able to do something like that in your church because of the pandemic?
Yeah. You know, it is really an interesting time that we are in. And, you know, we said in so many of the activities and the things that we have done that we've had to learn to shift, we've had to learn to pivot, we've had to learn to adjust our thinking, the way we used to do things, and now get into a way of doing things differently. And so this is the second funeral that I've actually attended, and that is not reticent of the funerals that I have not had a chance to attend. But the first funeral that I attended was outside, and they didn't even have the casket there. I think the casket was still in the hearse, and we were gathered, and I stayed in the car, and all the other cars were there. And it was just a few people that were out for that homegoing. But today, because our governor has opened up our churches and we can gather, but there are still rules in place for how funerals are to be held. And so on today, it was a little different. We normally are accustomed to having the body, the casket at the front of the church, and we're accustomed to having people coming in and you're greeting each other. You get a chance to go around and you get to hug the family of the deceased. And so this was different. The body, you guys, was in our lobby. That never happened in the over 20 years that we have been in our facilities. Never happened. So, and there was the family hour. It was only for an hour, and you come in, you view the body, and then you had to go. The funeral was a private funeral. And this particular woman at our church, oh my gosh, she was the epitome of love. She lived to be 89 years old. And I promise you, had times been different, our church would have been jam-packed with people to come and to eulogize her and to celebrate her life. But unfortunately, it was limited to just her family and a few people that she asked to speak at her funeral. So, you know, it was a great homegoing in the sense that we talked about her wonderful life, but it was different because I just know her life was so big and so many people would have liked to be there to celebrate her, but we just have to learn how to pivot in this time and do things differently. So yeah, you know, go ahead, Glory.
I was just going to say this week has shifted us like almost every hour. There's a shift. Our text messages for the Force of Friendship. I mean, that thing, my phone is going ding, 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 because we're just like, it just keeps going. And I think so much about Katrina, where she studied political science, was a part of her education. And we're also deep into this for so many reasons. Katrina, what's on your mind?
I mean, honestly, it just came off Bible study with Anthony, and we are reading in First Kings. And in First Kings, you see good kings and bad kings. Right. God allowed both of them. And you see evil and good. And it's just unbelievable. And I just wrote down, I mean, it's not an individual. We're not wrestling against an individual. This is a system of injustice. And so I'm not talking specifically about my white friends, many that have spoken out and some that haven't, but there's a lot of injustice that has taken place in America, and you see it in scripture. When an injustice happens, God rectifies it. And that means that, let's just keep it real. I love my country, but God has to rectify it. And that means that judgment comes. And so, I don't want to preach and I don't want to go there, but I'm telling you, when we were reading this morning in First Kings and in Proverbs, I was like, I don't know, same yesterday, today, and forevermore. I mean, let's just say that there's nothing new under the sun, and injustice has happened forever, and we're seeing it happen again. And I just know that God he has not turned his back. He is all in this and in what's taken place. And to see you marching yesterday, Chrisette, just really, so many don't understand. We look on Facebook and it's like, okay.
Right.
Okay. I wish there was more of an open conversation for real.
Right. When you talk about open conversation, amongst the girlfriends, we often talk about who we are and our personalities and what we do and who we are because of our personalities. And we always go to Sabrina when it comes to being the wordsmith. And so yesterday when Al Sharpton was at the mic, I was like, whoa. But Sabrina, I know you might want to have something else. So talk about that or talk about something else that's on your mind.
Well, it's all a lot's on my mind, and Katrina, you hit the nail on the head. I do believe God is in the details, and we find ourselves in this place that's uncomfortable. But I do finally, because my soul has been stirred so that I'm starting to see some light, and that's a good thing because it's been pretty dark these last couple of weeks. And so I'm grateful that there's light. I'm grateful that we have better understanding. Gloria, you talked about the protest, the mural being put up in DC. And so I think now the real work starts. The movement starts. This feels different to me than so many of the other times when we've lost our Black men unnecessarily and women at the hands of our police system. And so I'm encouraged that the protesters, there's a diversity in the crowd. I'm excited that people are ready to do than just sit back and let happen what's been happening. So I just believe there's a big work in front of us. I know that we can never go back to where we've been, but it's going to take some work on each and every one of our parts. Right. We have to have open conversation. We have to be brave. We have to be courageous. It's not popular. I mean, it's funny. I was thinking the other day, I put up a picture of my dog and get 500 likes.
Right.
I put up, civil unrest and where we are, I get 3 likes.
Right.
But you know what? It's what said to me is it's not about the likes, Sabrina. You go, you continue to open your mouth, you continue to fight for racial equality and justice.
Right.
And so I just think we all have a big work to do. And it's talking to your neighbors, it's talking to your coworkers. I've had so many conversations with friends, Caucasian friends this week, giving understanding, getting understanding, but having the hard conversation. And we just need to continue to have that conversation. And let's do some work. There are many ways that we can work and fight this thing. And we're going to list, you guys, all the different ways that we can make a difference. We're going to put some information up for how to get involved, what we can do to make a difference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we're all getting called to make a difference. And we are responsible for making sure that all that we know and all we know can contribute in some way, form, or fashion, because this truly is a movement. I want to say that I know that we have all 4 of us have spent a lot of tears this week as we've had to continue with our life and continue with our business, continue with the pandemic. It's been a lot of tears. It's been very hard to step into an I'm okay when you haven't really felt okay, that you really felt threatened. And even now we get choked up talking about it. But I will tell you that one big turning point for me was when I saw the international people join us. When I saw Dublin join us, when I saw New Zealand join us, when I saw Germany join us, when I saw the UK having the same conversation, when I saw the international response to what they saw here, that was huge for me. And then another huge moment for me was when the mayor of Seattle said, "Why does it take a video before you hear us? Why does it have to be a video?" So there's been some big moments amongst the movement. Anybody else want to speak to that or something of that?
I would just say, having been able to be a part of a march in the city of Detroit, when I tell you, it just felt different. It was awesome. And the beauty, the great thing about it is it didn't take a lot of time to pull it together. My husband and several of the other ecumenical ministers and those from different reformations came together. And when I tell you the community came out, they came out in large numbers. We probably had over 1,000 people that walked 4 miles, and it was peaceful. And that's what we wanted to show to the world, that we can be angry, but we don't have to destroy. We can be angry and we don't have to be violent, because I think the good thing and the thing we have to remember is not to be distracted and keep the main thing the main thing. And so, you know, to be there with our Governor Gretchen Whitmer, she has been phenomenal during this whole pandemic, and even during this particular call for justice. And so it was an awesome time to come together and to speak loud about, you know, how we're feeling, and to even come up with solutions for how we can be about solving this problem of injustice. So it's been a whirlwind week for sure.
Who else wants to start part of the conversation?
How do we start the conversation with, so that it's not different? I know we're making progress. I feel the same encouragement that you feel, Sabrina, and yet it seems as if, because the conversation is so uncomfortable, you talked about the book White Fragility, Chrisette, and the unwillingness of, you know, honestly, even some of my white friends that would have a conversation with me, a safe conversation with me, are we in a position to have a group conversation? To, you know, again, going back to the churches, it's one of the most segregated places, segregated times in America is Sunday morning. I mean, are we really willing to have a different level of conversation than we have in the past? I feel encouraged, but unless we do different, we won't have a different result. And, you know, I pray. Clearly this has taken the place of the pandemic. Not that it's still not taking place, but everything on the news is talking about it. But what happens when it's no longer on the news? And God forbid they're not convicted. Let's not even go there.
Well, one of the big things that's coming out now is how long it takes those who we have not had in the attention to get conviction. There's a lot of names that are now coming up where it's been 2 months, 3 months, 4 months ago. I mean, it's just so amazing. And then the whole conversation of how do we create a change? How do we make sure we get the vote out? How do we make sure that this is not just for today and that it's for a longer period of time? I mean, there's just so many things that when I think about us every Friday, we are laying a platform to take on the responsibility of creating the conversations. And so we ask our tribe to take on the responsibility of having the conversations, sometimes challenging, sometimes not so challenging, sometimes with the least expected, sometimes with the most expected, but it is required that we have the conversation, because anything that's dark only gets taken care of in the light, and everything always comes out in the light. But we're sometimes in a position right now, I feel, where we have to drag it into the light, and that's why people are protesting. Anybody have a thought? You know, it's so funny. Go ahead.
Really, I have so many thoughts, but honestly, I get upset. I get emotional, and it's hard to talk about. You know, you've got 2 sons, college age, and we've had to have some conversations. My daughter lives right there in New York City. I mean, in her world, in publishing, there's what, 1% executives in the publishing industry, African-American. That's not right. We are qualified. We're smart individuals. And so now I am just about it being in motion. How can we make a difference? It's not going to be overnight, but we've got, as girlfriends, we've got to challenge our other girlfriends. What are you doing to make a difference? Are you making phone calls? Are you on a voter registration drive? Are you working with young people of incarcerated parents? You guys, what this is showing me is that we have not done enough. We have not done enough. We haven't been enough, because we can be fabulous in our profession, but in our communities, we've got to do more, be more, and be loud about it. I know we just have to lead by example in that way. And I guess for me, it's very frustrating because it's been a long time for this thing to turn. But for the first time in a long time, I feel like this incident was the tipping point, that we cannot accept what's been handed to us. We just can't.
And so I'm going to bring it back. I know that we could keep talking. Our time is winding up, but I'm bringing it back to our fundraiser, and specifically as it relates to George Floyd.
Yeah.
We've seen posts, people talking about, but what about his criminal record? First of all, I don't personally know about his criminal record. Black men are whatever the word is, they're
Misdocumented.
things all the time. True or not true, it's a life. Okay, it's a life. Racism is prevalent, and so I'm just bringing it back to the fact: children of incarcerated parents. You guys, it is this fundraiser is an opportunity for us to make a difference, and we have until Sunday. And we believe that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, if you would just visit theforceoffriendship.com and you would challenge 5 of your girlfriends. Some of you can even challenge more. Many of you, we thank you, that have given 20, and many more that have given 100 or even more. We want to make a difference with the Pure Heart Foundation. Hopefully you've seen our 2 interviews we've done. If not, they're in our Facebook group, Facebook page below. You can share them. But please, we have until Sunday, and we're pushing this the fundraiser here. We want you to support. We want to be a blessing to the Pure Heart Foundation, and we can't wait to see the children whose lives will be made different. And so in this time, I could only imagine how those children are even more affected because of the pandemic, and more affected because of the protest. And so we need you as our girlfriends. Please visit theforceoffriendship.com, click on the donate button, and support. And if you're giving you 20, you can go back and give 20 more. Okay. Yes. We're excited. The conversation is going to continue, right, you guys?
Yeah, it's going to continue.
Stay in the fight, my
Can't
sister.
wait.
Stay in the fight. Stay in the
Yes.
fight. We don't give up. We don't give in. We
Right.
fight till the end. That's who we
That's
are.
right.
Be encouraged, my sisters. Be encouraged. Let's go.
Yes, leave us a message. We want to hear from you. We love you, and we want you to invite other people to be in this conversation and all the conversations. Have a phenomenal Friday from the Force of Friendships. We're the girlfriend experts. We love you guys. Take care.
Bye.
Have a great day.
Bye.